What is up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, coming back at you tonight to continue our lake breakdown of Lake Lanier. We are on episode 4 now of our offshore hotspots, talking about the south region on Lake Lanier. So basically what we've done is we've gone out and we've looked at all the contours on this lake using Navionics mobile app, using iBoating, using a couple other contour maps we could find to see what the best spots were, and then came out here basically and marked them all and for you guys, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, just a friendly reminder, we take all of these waypoints, plus all the waypoints that we can find using the satellite images. We take everything like that, plus the fish attractors, all the good stuff that we can find from doing our research online. We put it all together into a card, and then we make that card for you guys so you can put it into your fish finder. So that is out there. It's on simplisticfishing.com. Don't forget to go check that out. And most importantly, don't forget to go download our app, Simplistic Fishing app. It's got all the lakes out there for you guys that we've got broken down. In this case, we're in the southeast region. We're talking about 40 to 50 lakes, somewhere in there for the southeast region so far that we've broken down. It gives you the ability to not only see Lake Lanier, but also the ability to see all the other lakes in the region. So if you get Lake Lanier, you also get all the other lakes that are around it as well in that region. So definitely go check it out. It's on the App Store and out on Google Play. So now I'm done with all of my little ads. It's time to rock and roll. Let's jump into this thing. So if you remember when we started, or maybe you don't remember, maybe you didn't see the videos, but if you didn't, go look at the lake breakdown playlist and you'll catch up with us. But we started down here by the dam and we just worked our way down the east bank line. We worked up here, we stopped there, we didn't cut across that bridge, we came back down here, worked our way all the way up here, all the way over, got all the way over in here. We talked about all of this stuff as well. We stayed on the east side. We worked our way all the way up to about right here, and this is where we stopped last time. Now, in the last couple of videos, at least I know for the last one, I don't know if it was for the other one, I can't remember if I fixed it, but we had the hard spots that were in here as well. So it was kind of making things a little bit confusing for me because I'd come up here and I'd see two different waypoints there. One would be a hard spot, and then the other one would be offshore. And with me trying to just talk about the offshore stuff, it was making things a little bit confusing. So we're going to leave off the hard spots because we already talked about those hard spots when we went through the Google Earth breakdown. So if you want to see those, you just got to go look at the lake breakdown playlist and you'll see those out there. And you'll see us talking about all the different hard spots that we saw. And we were able to see those because the water was drawn down. When the water's drawn down, we can tell based on just the way that the land looks. So tonight, we're talking strictly contours. We're only going to look at this from an offshore perspective, from a contour perspective. So it's nothing visual. It's only what we can see from the map. So let's go ahead and get started here. Now we ended right here, in which this is actually a hard spot, but we ended right there last time. So we'll skip that one and we're just going to work our way up here. And let's talk about some of these that are right here. So this one, awesome, right? Got a nice flat top with a big break out here. You've got a hump out here. Again, you've got a really good looking point that comes in here. Nice rounded point, some kind of buoy there too, so it could be a hard spot or something like that as well. Look at this one. This one looks really awesome. This point comes out pretty far. I think if we look at it, it's only going to be like 12 foot on top, so perfect looking point to go check out. And this one may be pretty good too, right? If they get back up in here and do any kind of spawning or anything like that, or maybe just get up here in the shallows, this has got a pretty good little base top to it, you know, like a nice little flat top. And those are the types of things I look for. If I can find those little flat tops on those points, it makes them a lot better for the most part. Now, there are going to be some times though when you go out there and it's points like this that are going to be more productive than points like this. But I can tell you, at least from my experience, points like this have been far more superior than these types of points. But certain times of the year, these little rounded points can get kind of tricky. All right, let's keep moving on down, see what else we find. And if you're trying to follow me, hopefully you're following me. Here's the bridge up here. We're going to stop and start working our way back down. So we're getting pretty close to the bridge now. And as we get over here, we got this little island in here, and kind of a little saddle area. You got a pretty cool little area in here. This little saddle could be a good place to find some fish. And then on the back side of this island, this looks pretty good as well. Now you do have a little drop on the front side of the island too. And you could also fish around these, because you do have a little saddle area there, right? So this area in here could be productive as well to take a look at. Now let's keep moving on and keep seeing what else we can find. Here's a big old submerged bridge out there in like 150 foot of water. So that's probably not gonna be much fun. Let's keep moving up, see what else we can find. We've got a nice little point here with a nice flat top on it. These points look decent too. You know, they might not be too bad, but this one just looks a little bit better. This one too, this one comes out, nice flat top. It's about 13 foot on the top. And if you notice, this blue line right here, this is a roadbed. So that roadbed goes right off the side of that point, right where it gets really sharp, where that break is. That's where that roadbed is. You can see it right there. So that roadbed might be out of play because it's going to be in, you know, I don't know, it looks like 30 something foot of water or so, but it could come into play if the water's down for sure. All right, let's keep moving up, see what else we have. We have a nice little point that's over here. This one looks good. That's one of those rounded points I was telling you about, but look at the breaks it has off the sides of it. Just looks really juicy, and the fact that it's right there by the bridge, kind of a good stopping spot for them to hang out at, so I really like that. Now guys, the good news is if you've been following along with me with all these videos, we finally made it to the bridge. So now we're gonna work our way back down from the bridge and stay on the west side, and hopefully we'll finish up this south region within a couple videos. So let's talk about these points again. I'm just gonna point them out. Another good one there, another good one here is right. This one probably has a hard spot just based on looking at it and the contours of it. It's got a flat top here. Then it breaks down just a hair and it has another flat top, but the whole time, and then another one. So it's really 3 different steps here. And you've got really, really strong contours on the sides of these. Like right here, look at that break. If you zoom in here, we can go from here at 19 foot and we can be here at 50 foot. So there's some goodness going on around that point for sure. Moving on down, if we're looking around that island, you know, islands always catch people's attention. You probably fish the backside, it's going to be your steep side, and this is going to be your little saddle. You might be able to find some in the saddle or out here off the side. The other thing that you might want to look at too, though, similar to what we saw over here with this roadbed, there's another roadbed right here that comes right up through that island and off the back side of it. So it's possible that you could have some debris or something like that that's right here off these areas of the island. That might be something to take a look at. There is something over there, it looks like, that someone's marked. Not sure what that is. Large pontoon boat, okay. Interesting. Maybe there's a pontoon boat that's broke down there. Here's another good point. You got a submerged culvert out there. Nice little hump that's back here in this marina. It's kind of hidden. People probably be like, what are you doing in the marina? No, there's a nice little hump that's here. There's another nice one that's back here too. That's almost like a point that comes out. 15 foot with a nice little break off of it. You could even check this one out back here. And again, if you're just now tuning in, I can't mark every single offshore spot because I probably mark a billion, but I try to mark the big ones that point out. But as we're going through these videos, if I see a few that I missed, or maybe I would probably check out if I was out there, I try to point them out to you. And these are definitely 2 spots I would look at, right here and right here. All right, let's keep moving on. See what else we can find as we move on down here. We're getting down past this park lake. If you're trying to figure out where I'm at, here's Point Royale Marina. I guess that was that one. We're gonna go just below it. Or maybe it still is a marina, or maybe these are prime docks. I have no idea. Never been to Lanier, so I don't know. But right here, this point, juicy looking point, right? Pretty close to that marina, the back side of that marina. Then we're gonna move on down and make sure I didn't miss anything out there in the open, because there's a whole bunch of stuff out there coming up. So let's move into this area right here and let's take a look at this. So this just looks like all kinds of good offshore goodness. First off, let's start up here by the island. So when we get up here by the island, we've got some really good breaks going on the back side of this island. Very steep right here, right? This is flat, and then you got the steepness. So there's all kinds of stuff that you could fish here. I mean, really, you need to scan around the whole thing, but let's talk about a few different spots. So we got the back side of this island where it breaks really heavy. We've got this right here, which looks like it goes from 5 foot to like 30 something foot super fast. So you've got that. Let me scoot this in. We've got the saddle that's right here that they could be on. We got this point that they could be on. Or we could come out here and we could look right here. Look at this little ditch that's going on between these 2 areas. They could be hanging out on either one of the tops of those, or in the right dead smack in the middle. They could also be over here off of this break. They could be out here, more towards the end of that whole point, right in here. That's getting a little bit deeper. Or we could move down here and look for them a little bit further out here. You can tell there's some goodness going on out here, some major breaks, just some interesting stuff going on out there. And I don't know why Got them both marked as offshore, but let's just take a look at it. You can tell there's something going on here. This is probably like a hard spot or something like that, but here you've got like a shelf at like 22 feet, and then it breaks down and goes to like 38 feet. And here you've got the points, 15 feet, probably goes to like 20 feet. So just a good area to probably go scan around, right? All of this stuff right in here, just scan this whole area, scan this, scan all this. I mean, it's a big area to scan. And then maybe, you know, go scan the backside of that island and then maybe right in here. That would be the spots that I would check out for sure. All right, let's keep moving on. See what else we can find in here. We've got some pretty good little humps out here. There's a nice little hump at 24 foot with a good saddle. You got really good breaks going on right in here. You got a little island here that's got awesome little breaks that come out from here. Breaks down to 16 foot. That looks really juicy. Then this one comes out. Nice flat tops. Got some breaks on both sides. We move on down to here. Athens Park. It's got a few good looking points out here. This one looks really good. And again, same type thing, right? We're starting to see a pattern here. This one pops out to the flat top and the big breaks as well. We'll keep moving down here and see what else we can find. Now we're getting to this stuff that I told you was really far out there. At least I thought it was. All right, let's go right in here. Let's talk about all this stuff right here, because there's a lot. All right, well, if you like going really far offshore, this is gonna get you out in the middle of the lake. And basically what you're gonna do here is just kind of fish these little humps or ridges or whatever they are. So you can see here, we've got a hump down here, a little fish icon on it. Somebody does good there. Another one here. Look at the drops on these things. These are probably nice hard spots. Look at this big flat that comes out off the edge of this island and then it breaks off. Same thing here. You got a nice flat top and then it breaks off, but you've also got a road bed that comes through here. Right there, if you're following my little finger. Got another hump that comes up here. Another one here. And look at these. These are good looking humps. I mean, they're 12 foot on top, 13 foot on top, and 33 foot off to the side. So just really good looking humps. Another one right there and another one right there. So, I mean, between that spot and the spot we looked at earlier with these islands up here, you could do some damage probably between those two spots, because there's definitely a lot to go explore there. All right, let's keep moving up. Let's see if there's anything back in here real quick. There were a couple points back in here. This one's a really long extended point, and this one has that nice tabletop on it as well. And then we've got way back in here. I've marked one back here because this little point is perfect. It's a nice little sharp rounded point, and it's got a creek bed that's running really close to it. So right there. All right, let's move back in here. We're gonna come down here. We're gonna get to Bethel Park now. We talked about all this stuff out here, so we're gonna swing back here to the left, and maybe once we get done here, then we'll come back out and we'll hit this backside where it says Lights Ferry Island. We'll get the backside of that, but let's stay on this side for right now. Let's zoom in here and see what we can find. Won't zoom in too much. All right, here we go. Good little point here, right? Good break. Same thing here. You got that tabletop that we're looking for. It's there. You've actually got it all the way around this whole point right here. You'd have to get out here to see the break. Same thing here. Really good point down in here. Look at the breaks on that thing. That is going to be very big. We're going to go from 8 foot to about 55 foot. So pretty quick drop. 8 foot to 39 foot right in there. Something juicy is going on there. It's probably a nice hard spot, like a big rock or something like that. That's what's giving us those nice contours. You're going to get the same type thing back here as we zoom into these. You're going to see those flat tops with those breaks. Flat tops with the break, flat top with the break. All right, before we go any further, let's zoom around this island. Let's talk about this side of it really quick. We've got some good stuff down here, right? We got this right in here. You got a road bed coming in here. You've got something going on here. These little dots, these green dots are usually mean there's rock piles or something there. So you might want to check there, but look at that little point that comes off there. It's kind of hidden in there. You've also got this blue line that comes right here. That's your road bed. And that road bed goes right across that little island right there. And then it comes down here to this submerged bridge. So, and you've got humps that are out here too. So goodness gracious, all kinds of good stuff to check here. So check these, check this, check the backside of this island because you got a really nice break with a road bed there. That could have potential. You've got this little hump that comes out here at 11 foot with a road bed. That could be good. Over here, you got a hump, and then you got a submerged submerged bridge right here too that you can check out, and we'll have those things marked for you, those bridges. Let's move on up and talk about the other things that are on the outside of this island. So here, the roadbed and the saddle, that's good. Here's another hump. If you look here, this is like going back up into this little bay up here. It's only 10 foot, but right here you've got a major break. Well, you've got that roadbed right there too. So check where that break is right there off that ledge. Then here, you can see here, this looks really good, but also this point comes out. So maybe checking right where that little hook is in that area. Then we're gonna come up here. We talked about these. This is your humps. You got a couple more humps that are out here too. I think we may have already touched those, maybe not. And then we have that one there, and I know we talked about the other stuff. So let's go back down here now that we've came out of that island, the Three Sisters Island. When we get down to here, we'll circle back. Let's go right in here because we stopped right there. Hopefully I'm not duplicating myself here. I think we went down to Bethel. I think we're good. This is getting so confusing. Too many things here, but let's keep talking about this. This is that point we were talking about earlier. These are those other points. We already did talk about that. Let's go down here. Let's talk about this section now. So we're gonna come into this section. We've got another island that's out here. And these islands are pretty cool, right? And they always look cool to fish around. It's always like, where do you go, right? You got this giant island. Where are you gonna fish out around the island? Well, I really like this spot right here, where again, you're getting that little flat top and then you're getting the breaks. This over here, like the saddle between the island and the land, that looks really good too. You've got some pretty good breaks there, and it comes up. That ridge is only about 10 foot, so it's a really good looking spot right there. Another good hump here, another good point or hump. You can actually more of a hump here. And then remember, as you're out there, always be looking for those road beds. Those road beds can always be juicy spots to find fish for sure. All right, let's keep moving on down here. Let's see what we can find in here. We're gonna just touch on all of these. So again, we've got the long extended point there. There's you one of those rounded points we were talking about earlier that can be magical during certain times of year. They've just got massive breaks on them. And sometimes you got to actually get down here where the break starts to taper off, and they'll be like right in here as opposed to really right on the point. We've got this interesting area in here. It comes out 6 foot. It's about 10 foot here. And then you've got a little channel that comes through here. Getting in the edge of those, like either here or here, could be a productive area. Right here, you've got a road bed. Here you've got a nice little point with some really sharp breaks around it. And then out here we've got a hump as well. So let me zoom out here and just make sure that I'm not missing anything here, because we've gone around these islands that are getting confusing that we were in, and I want to make sure that we're not losing our place here, because we still got to get out there, out here on the back of Three Sisters Island. So now we're on 4 Mile Island. We talked about these humps here. Let's go down a little bit further. We're going to come out to the edge of this island. And let's take a look at this. So again, right, we got these little islands that are out here, but if we get off the edge of these islands, this is where we start seeing the breaks, right? Here's the breaks, there's another break, there's another one there, good little hump that's there. Look at this one that comes out. It's got a nice little shelf there with some really sharp breaks. This one over here has got a couple different fish icons, you know, it's pretty good. And then this point here just looks juicy just the way that it's set up. All right, so let's do this really quick. Let's go out here. We're going to cover this whole middle section, and then we'll wrap it up for the video. That way, when we come back, we'll start right here at 4 Mile Island, or we'll work our way up. So I'm actually going to zoom in here real quick, and let's just mark. We already talked about that one. That's where we ended. So let's take that one, and let's make that one our shipwreck, or what do we want to make it? We'll change it to rock, so we know that's where we're going to start on the next video. All right, so for this video, we got to go out. We got to cover the rest of that giant island, right? All this stuff that's out here. So let's jump in. We'll start down here on the bottom, and then we'll work our way up. These are basically just underwater islands or underwater humps, but we've got them all marked for you guys. And you can see the ones that came into play that actually came in to where, you know, they're good depth, you know, 15, 17 foot, looks good. This one says Simplistic marker 26 was to say dangerous wreck. So there's a shipwreck that's out there. So that'd be cool to fish around. Another hump that's out there too. So here's your shipwreck. There's another hump. There's another hump out here. Then as we get closer to the island, it starts getting really crazy. I would love to go out and fish this one. Check out all these different humps and stuff. Humps with ledges. We got a road bed that comes through here. Look at that nice little hook that's in there. Got a good saddle there. Another hump that's up here. The back side of that island has a nice drop. This little saddle between these two islands looks cool. I don't even know if that's what you call it. That's what I'm going to call it for this video. But if you zoom in right there, look at the break you got going on there. You're at 16 foot to 33 foot. So you got some goodness going on right in that area. We're going to get out here. We're going to stay on this side of the island. We're just pointing out the humps and the interesting places right here. Look at this saddle with a nice break. Good point, good point. Another hump with huge breaks on each side of it. This thing looks like it's got some kind of channel going through it or something, but really sharp breaks right there. That one's got a hump with sharp breaks on the other side of it. This is another one of those, you know, more flatter points that come out. There's a bunch of them here. There's a hump here. There's the flatter point. There's a long extended point. There's another hump. Another hump says there's rock there, which probably going to be rock on all these humps. More humps that are out here. These are getting a little bit deeper, but if you look at this one looks cool just because it's out here. But this one right here, look at the drops you have right in here, and then here, really good drops there, real nice flat top. All those look awesome. I think we're almost there. We're getting up to Lights Ferry Island where we stopped at earlier. So we got this little one here. I think we already talked about that one, but there's a little hook there. Then we got the roadbed coming out here off the edge of this island. This hump here. And then out here, I mean, we're getting close to the main river channel, but you got some really good humps that are out here too. Guarantee there's some rock there or something good to fish around. And then we're back up to the area that we talked about. So we've covered a ton today. We started up here where the rock was, and we worked our way all the way down to here. And then we'll zoom into here. We're gonna start here on the next video, and we'll work our way straight up this way and see what we can find up there, and then we'll work our way on back down, stay down the west side, and see what else we can find on the lake. We're getting close, guys. I think maybe one more video, we might be able to wrap this one up. So until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Don't forget to go out to simplisticfishing.com, pick up your SD cards or your digital files, and don't forget to download the Simplistic Fishing app. It's out on the App Store and Google Play. Guys, I hope you catch your PB. I'm having a hard time finishing this one out. Go catch your PB. Talk to you next time.